everybody, welcome back. It has been a hot minute, as always, since we've done one of these, but we have a nice selection of new guests here for the unofficial Doom Eternal podcast. My name's Ketchup, joined by the main man, under the Mayo, Spud Hunter, as always. But as always, we have special guests on, and this time it's going to be Sylar and T0y0ta. So Sylar, starting with you, how's it going, bro?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
Awesome. Good to hear from you and happy to have you here. Same as T0y0ta. How's it going, man?
Doing great. How about you?
I'm all right. I always get the easier shift on these because it's like 2 p.m. my time. I don't have to stay up late or wake up early.
It's 2 p.m. for me as well.
Oh, yeah. Fellow EU lads, rise up. But now, Mayo, you always have, a selection of topics and we always kind of start off with Doom Eternal, don't we? And eventually become off topic. It really depends on how far. But
the more episodes we do, it feels like we just go more and more into tangent territory.
I know, right?
Yeah. But yeah, what were you going to say, man?
Oh, I was just going to say, what do you want to start off with?
Oh, man. Well, this is an episode I've wanted to do for a while, diving into more of the tech world of things. And I figured these would be the two perfect guys to have on, especially in the wake of the latest discovery or publication of the Destroyer Blade tech. And so for the people who haven't seen that tech yet, I was wondering if Sylar and T0y0ta wanted to elaborate a little bit on what they found.
I think Sylar should explain it since he was the one who found it.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, it's not that easy. The tech is a bit convoluted. And first of all, I have to say that this tech, which is kind of a glitch actually, was a bit of a mystery for some time in the community, especially in the speedrunning community. We have had some clips showing it, usually from speedrunners, for example, T0y0ta or Frostixen had this bug a couple of times, and of course we all tried to figure out what could be causing it. But as I said, for several months we really didn't have any idea, basically, on how to replicate it.
Could you say exactly what the bug is? What were you seeing?
Yeah. Actually, the bug is very easy to see. Simply, we with the fast Destroyer Blade tech, we have a really fast charging time for the Destroyer Blade. I'd say maybe at least double the speed, probably something like that. So of course, it's obvious how useful that could be if one would be able to replicate it consistently. And now, of course, recently, as Mayo said, I actually somehow managed to figure out how the tech was working, and we found out that it's actually pretty very related to the Arbalest. So I have a couple of videos actually on my channel where I try to explain the tech. As I said, it's a bit convoluted, but the important thing is that actually everyone could do it with a little bit of practice. And I don't know if you want me to actually explain the inputs, the setup. It's a bit long. I can try, of course.
Well, it's from what I see in the video. It's an Arbalest charge, and then while the Arbalest is charging, there's kind of like a kind of a moment.
Yeah. That's actually probably the fanciest thing about the most fancy thing about this tech is that the way I found it is that I discovered that you get this fast Destroyer Blade whenever a certain sound plays, and to play this sound you have to do we have a couple of different methods to get it, which I call sound swaps. And yeah, as Mayo said, this is a bzz sound of some sort. And actually, this sound plays every time you're charging a destroyer blade and you swap out of it while still holding mouse 2 or alternate fire, I guess, if you're on a controller.
Okay.
And but with Arbalest, you still can get the same sound in the same way, actually. But what I found is that it's a frame perfect swap. So you have to release alternate fire in a specific frame in order to get the sound. And if you get the sound, your next destroyer blade will be a fast destroyer blade. And actually, one very interesting aspect is that you can even wait for, I don't know, 5-10 minutes, and your next destroyer blade will still be a fast destroyer blade, which in other terms means that the fast destroyer blade has been stored. It's what I like to say. So it's been saved for later use.
Kind of like a pocket fast destroyer blade.
Yeah, kind of like that.
Yeah.
That's like the most fascinating part about it, that you don't have to do
Yeah,
it
it's
instantly.
very
You can
cool.
just hold on
Yeah.
to it. That is so cool.
Yeah, actually, I'm still hoping that this storing aspect could be used by speedrunners, maybe.
Yeah, and they're
So they
routing,
can-
like they're going to use it in a certain
Yeah,
place.
exactly. They can save it and maybe use it like 1 minute later in a very specific arena for whatever reason.
It's so cool because like it's obviously a very powerful tool, but it's not like something that breaks the game and changes everything and like, oh god, this needs to be fixed. It's like, no, it's just like it's a very powerful thing that you can do, and you can probably work into speed runs, and you can throw in here and there. Like it's not like doing this causes the destroyer blade to fast charge forever now. It's like it gives
Yeah,
you one.
absolutely.
It gives you one,
Yeah.
and you have to keep recharging it. Like that's the cool thing about it.
Yeah, there's a setup you need to do every single time when you want to use it. That makes it actually very very fair, I think. And I also think that it's kind of stylish as a tech, which is also very interesting to me because I consider myself a stylish player in a way. I'm very interested in combos and whatever you can pull off in this game.
Yes.
So that's also very very interesting. And I think Toyota actually is. I know that he's trying to make it work and use it in his normal gameplay, which is
Yeah.
also very cool. Yeah.
Have you had any success with that, Toyota? How consistent are you
Yes,
finding it?
my latest run that I made, I think it was a corrosion slaughter map. I was able to get I think 2 or 3 fast destroyer blades. It was
Nice.
I was satisfied with it. Although now there's a better method of doing it, and it doesn't require frame perfect
Yeah.
inputs, which kind of makes it way easier to get.
Oh, okay.
Is it
It's
something?
it's a bit longer, but yeah, it's easier.
Is it something you think they're likely to patch out, coming with like their big content patches coming out soon, like the Horde Mode and all that?
I'm
Honestly,
not really
yeah.
sure.
Is it something you
I'm
feel
not
like
sure.
can be overpowered in your runs, where they'll be like, this wasn't
no.
intentional?
No, I
The
don't
thing
think
is,
it's overpowered.
It's a lot of effort to get a fast
Yeah.
destroyer blade, honestly. So you
Yeah.
can't really. I mean, yes, you can use it very often, but I don't think you can just exploit it that much because it requires so much time to get one.
Yeah.
You're first of all you're forced to swap from Arbalest to Destroyer Blade and back to Arbalest every single time.
Especially if
which
you're
is-
not an arbalist.
Yeah,
player,
yeah.
and you
Actually,
might
I'm not
use
an Arbalest player,
Destroyer
so whereas Toyota is, so of course he's gonna be way more interested in it than me. And
Right,
so
right.
yeah, the setup is still pretty long, so I don't think it's overpowered. But at the same time, I have the impression that probably they knew about this glitch for some time, but they probably couldn't figure out how to replicate
probably
it.
they
So
couldn't
now that
replicate
now that I gave them all they needed, maybe I don't know. Maybe they want to fix it now. I can't say, of course.
I would
Huh?
say maybe not. I think the only tech they really patched out
Yeah, the shield
recently was
glitch.
the shield
Yeah,
glitch.
that was
And
fair.
that one was, to be fair, very very strong, almost broken.
Yeah, basically you could use the chain gun shield on every weapon.
That was
And it was
so
also very
ridiculous.
very simple to do. Yeah. Like you could do a shielded destroyer blade. Like imagine a shielded fast destroyer blade.
That is ridiculous.
Ketchup, did you see
Yeah.
that? Did you see the chain gun shield glitch?
That definitely slipped by me, but it sounds amazing. But it definitely, even without seeing it, yeah, you can just hear about it and know that that's kind of busted. But I think at the same
Yeah.
time, that's what I like about the Doom Eternal team is that if there are discoveries made that still, I guess seemingly fit within their vision of, how the combat is, and if it's really hard to do, and if it kind of just adds to it in this way or that way, keeping certain things in, if they add to the experience as just another element, it's hard to say if that's the kind of thing that will be taken out. But that's, I think, what I like about the combat system is that, here we are a few years later and still things like this are being found, which are really important for like the absolute highest level. But at the same time, they only really affect the highest level because not everyone is going to simply be able to do it. Like, I don't want to sound elitist in any way, but if it's an incredibly hard trick to pull off and kind of get consistently, it's the kind of thing that's only going to affect the maybe not even 1% of player base.
Yeah, true. Yeah. I mean, you need to know the basics very very well,
Yeah.
and then you need a lot of practice. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because
it's not
if you
for everyone.
if you set up one of these fast destroyer blades and then you want to do another one, like you would have to switch back to Arbalist and then set it up, and then by that time you might as well have just used a regular destroyer blade. So this is
Yeah,
something that you
absolutely.
have to set up in advance and you can use once. Then you're gonna have to set it up all over again, and in the heat of battle, I mean, you might as well just be putting out your high damaging weapons anyway. So it does. I don't feel like it flips the combat on its head or anything like that. It's just a
Yeah.
cool little detail that you guys have put together that I think makes, I don't know, it just makes things even more interesting. Me and Ketchup have talked about how this game has similarities to fighting games, and this is just another one, like frame perfect execution tricks.
Yeah, it's not the only one actually. There are other almost frame perfect or actually frame perfect swaps. For example, this is very cool, but and it's also very very hard to pull off, at least consistently. You can also frame swap the ballista itself. We all know that the ballista it's of course a very strong weapon, but when you actually swap it, it's very slow compared to rocket launcher, for example,
Yeah.
or combat shotgun with sticky bombs. But actually, if you manage to swap the ballista at a very specific frame, it's gonna be insanely fast. Like you can do precision bolt ballista swaps, but very very fast. Or also ballista punch swaps, which is what I like to call the ultra kill tech. Whenever you punch in a very specific frame, your next ballista will be so much faster than usual, which is actually very very strong. But as I said, it's also very hard to pull it off. So that's another example of frame swaps in Doom Eternal.
See, this is the kind of thing that I feel like if it had been discovered in the first months of the game, then there would be a rush to patch it out. But now that we're at the year and a half mark, stuff like this I think is more acceptable, because I think one of the larger problems, like, okay, going back to the Marauder Ice Bomb trick, right? Which was discovered soon and it was patched soon. And Yeah, it's broken. It really trivializes the Marauder. Yes, of course, those are valid reasons for taking it out. But I think one of the main reasons is that you have all these new players coming into a brand new game, and then they go online. They're like, "How do I beat the Marauder?" And they're like, "Oh, just use the ice bomb trick." Right? Like that's why stuff like that gets patched out and so quickly. If ballista punch swapping tech was discovered in May of last year, you'd have all the new players going on and like not trying to learn how to play Doom Eternal, but trying to go in and learn how to punch swap everything. And like that would just kind of, you don't want all your brand new players coming in and thinking, oh, well, this is how I should be playing. You want them spending time with the game and getting to know how the game actually flows before they start getting into all that kind of crazy stuff that, technically does break combat.
You just reminded me of punch swapping. It just reminds me of, I think there's actually still elements in other versions of 2016 single player and maybe Doom Eternal, I'm not sure. But I know 2016 for sure. There's that thing where if you had the pistol, you could fire punch like really far.
You also have something, I think it was called Jimmy Shot. I think I saw a video of Devo about that. And it's pretty much 2016 tech that lets you use infinite what's it called? Explosive shots.
Explosive shot, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well,
It doesn't have a cooldown. Like you can just spam that. It's amazing.
Now, the reason I bring it up is because actually, in point of what you were talking about there, Mayo, that was in the multiplayer for a while. Because I believe, if I remember right, the pistol, it's been a long time, so I might be off, but I think one of the first DLC weapons was the blaster. And it's like primary fire was just, pew, 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 and you could charge a second shot. So it's very much like single player. But the punch fire thing still existed. And when it was discovered that existed in multiplayer, like I remember a time where like almost everyone was doing it. So you had like lobbies of people just with a pistol just beating each other up. And it's like, this isn't how to play the multiplayer, right? But because that was a really powerful piece of tech, especially as far as secondary weapons go. Because it had good damage anyway, because multiplayer had no damage fall off. If you hit something, that was how much damage it did.
Yeah.
People would just have a secondary pistol, and if you get close range, rather than quick swapping shotguns or whatever it was, you just go punch, 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 and it was like completely not, how the multiplayer was intended to be played, and that was removed quite quickly. Because it very much fit within the same realms of that, kind of going against the base design, and now you just do this exploit instead to make it arguably easier, quote unquote. Definitely a problem there. But
you
like
would have felt at home with it being Mortal Kombat, like punch
I loved
combos
it,
and
man.
stuff.
I loved it. You just beat people up, dude. That's my whole jam. But yeah, very much so.
So I've got a short list of questions here for you guys, a couple of interview topics, first of all, what was your first Doom game? Do you guys go back to the classics? Did you come in on Doom 2016? What's your story? Toyota, let's start with you.
I started playing Doom when I was about 8-9 years old, and my first introduction was the original Doom.
Nice.
My cousin showed to me, and I just got hooked up onto it. It was really fun.
Did you play all the way through, or did you just kind of play here and there?
No, I played here and there, and then after a while, I saw that Doom 2016 came out, and then I played it, and I really enjoyed it. And then I started playing Doom again.
Sylar, how about you?
I'm actually pretty much the same. I remember my first Doom game was like when I was like maybe even 6 years old. And of course, it was the original Doom. And actually, I don't remember much about it because after I played it like those first times, I don't think I ever played it again. But then I played Doom 3 when it came out. Of course, I know it's a very different game from the other Doom games, but I still loved it because I was a lot into horror games, so that was fine for me. And of course, like Toyota, when Doom 2016 came out, I was very excited about it, and I played it for some time. Actually, not that much. I usually don't play single player shooters all that much, but of course, with Doom Eternal, I made an exception, and yeah, that game I played it like a lot.
Well, yeah, obviously, for you to have the kind of tech that you do, you gotta have a few hours in the
And a
game
little
already.
Yeah, just a few. Yeah.
Just casually.
It's funny you said that you played it as a kid, but then you like didn't remember it that much. I was kind of the same way. Like I played it like here and there as a kid. I'd never had the game, but it was like on my uncle's computer or when we would visit him or something like that, and I play it for a couple hours. And I used to think about the game all the time. I used to dream about the game. I would dream that I died and went to hell, and I had to go in with the BFG, and I would just imagine Doom, but I never actually played it. And I never actually got the game until, God, like into my late 20s. I finally actually sat down and played the whole thing. And then finally I played all the way through the campaign and played a whole bunch of WADs and stuff like that, and then I was officially a Doom head by that point. And then 2016 came out, and I didn't play it because I didn't have a PC at the time, and I didn't want to play it on console. So I waited like a year, and then I just couldn't take it anymore. And I borrowed a friend's copy on PS4 and played it, and just had the time of my life because it plays well on console. I don't know if you guys have played with controller or not.
It plays well on pad
really.
in general.
Yeah,
it does. Doom has always been, well, I say always, since really 2016. And I don't mean to keep bringing up my area of Doom, but the multiplayer side of it was you would have a pretty impressive amount of pad players. I think a big part of that is aim assist being as prominent as it was, and I guess still is in some ways, means that aim assist helps that a lot when it's less about flick shots and it's not your kind of standard arena FPS. So as long as I would definitely say it's more similar to a Halo, right? Where all you've got to do is focus on positioning and button execution of swapping your weapons fast and getting those combos on deck. Pad is very, very good for that, and it still is. And I think I remember people, and could be out of date information. I know the Marauder's not considered that amazing in battle mode these days. The Mancubus has kind of overtaken him in usefulness, but even the super shotgun with the Marauder, it was like that thing on pad I heard was always like a complete beast because it would you'd have so much damage from like good ranges. But yeah, pad was never a terrible choice. On the subject of classic Doom though, it always reminds me of like one of my favorite gaming memories with my dad when I was a kid. Like my first Doom game was Doom 64, right, on the N64. And it scared the hell out of me. Like it was a very intimidating game, especially when you're super, super young. But we used to watch our dad play it, and he played in the weirdest way. I'd never seen anyone use a pad like it, and I haven't since. But he held, is everyone familiar with the N64 pad and the strange shape of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you've got like the stick on the top and you've got the Z button on the back, and he used to hold it so like his left hand was like flat, and he used to kind of rest the pad on his flat palm, and he used to use his like right hand specifically on the stick like a joystick or something, and he used to press the buttons with like some of his other fingers. Again, I can't describe how weird it was, but he was able to use that method because he'd never played games before, really. So he just did whatever he thought.
Was he playing with one hand or something?
He was playing with two hands, but it's impossible to describe. But I've never seen anyone. It's like when someone who's never played a pad pretends to use pad. He just unironically did do that, and he was able to get 120 stars in Mario 64. He got all the way up to the end of Doom 64, but he could never beat the Absolution, right? He could never beat that final level. It was too hard, probably because of how he held the pad. He couldn't be quick enough. But in hindsight, to be fair, but one week he gave up on it because he's like, I can't beat this level. I can't do it. It's too hard. And then that was it. And then 1 week, he's got this like giant smile on his face, and he's like, I've done it, boys. And we're like, what? He's like, I beat the level. And we're like, how did you do it? He's like, I found a secret code. What he means is he went out of his way to find the cheat that gives you infinite health, weapons, ammo, and he beat the game with that. But because he had he didn't really play games, him going out of his way to find the code to beat the game with like infinite everything
It was like a part of the game.
It was a big victory for him because he felt like he'd gone out of his way to find that extra step. You know what I mean?
That
And
was
he was
the
like
work.
chuffed to bits. He was chuffed to bits, man.
Yeah, sick.
Then did you start playing with? Did he give you the infinite ammo and health code at least?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I only ever played with it on.
Yeah, I used to play like that whenever I would get to play Doom for a couple hours at somebody's house, I would put in that God mode code and just run around and just punch things in the face.
When mouse input became a thing in the game, in the OG Dooms, I had mouse 1 and mouse 2 is plus forward and plus backwards, and then control is shoot. That was my whack control setup. Not a controller, but like on keyboard and mouse. I eventually got out of that.
Do you think that playing the original Doom with a mouse, do you think that is that like sacrilege, or does that break things at all?
No, I mean, it depends how much of a purist you want to be, but like, especially with like some of the awesome source ports that there are now, I feel like it's just the one thing. It's the one thing that I won't go retro on. Like, I feel like it improves the experience.
It does.
You know? But yeah. I don't know, like, you don't find yourself always looking up. It's just that little bit of verticality that I think makes you appreciate some of the levels a bit more as well. Like, if you play Doom 2 Sandy City, that whole map is vertical. So when you're like locked to just,
sure, looking
straight forward, you don't get to see the scale of what that map is really like. And yeah, since I've unlocked the mouse, since I've been using the mouse, I can't go back.
I had this really crappy like work laptop for a while, and I only used it for work, and I only needed it for a couple programs, so I didn't bother upgrading it. But I had GZ Doom on there, and I played in my downtime at the office, like on my breaks. I played through Doom 1, 2, and both episodes of Final Doom, keyboard only, and it was a rush, man. It was so much fun. Like, that's the way I like to. If I'm not playing like Brutal Doom, or if I'm not playing like a WAD that is like really extreme, I like to play classic just on the keys. It's just, I don't know.
I gotcha.
There's something about it. I just like it a lot.
How painful was Plutonia with only keyboard?
Well, I mean, it took me a while. It's rough, dude. Like, but it's also not so bad, because like that's how I grew up thinking it was played, because it was played like that. And so it's not that I had to get used to it. I was already pretty good at playing it that way. And so I mean, it's as hard as Plutonia is, but it would have been a lot worse if I wasn't already comfortable playing like that.
Yeah.
So you guys are into this kind of like deep tech level of Doom Eternal at this point, and so I was curious what game got you into that. I mean, we talked about what your first Doom game is, but what's the first game that you started playing and really examining on that kind of deep tech level?
I would say, for me personally, was Doom 2016. So while I finished my second to third playthrough, I saw a guy on YouTube playing it. It was a playthrough. I think you guys know his name. His name is Klockner, and he made this Kong Deer Sanctum run, and I was surprised at how he was playing, because he was quick switching everywhere with every single gun, and I was like, how is this guy doing? And then I tried replicating myself, and then I tried learning it, and that's how I got into this type of tech.
And from there, you started like doing your own research and trying to figure out your own
Yeah,
stuff.
pretty much. And then Doom Eternal came out, and I tried doing the same thing, but for that game.
Is there anything that you can claim that you found in Doom 2016?
In 2016,
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Okay. And Sylar, how
Because
about?
most of it, I think my first playthrough was in 2018, and I think most of the tech was already found there.
And so you actually got into this with Doom. That's interesting. Sylar,
Yeah.
how about you? Same story, or was there another game that
Yeah.
you got into on a deep level
No,
first?
actually, I think I've always done that with every single game I played. Of course, every time on my own, I'm not the kind of guy who actually looks on YouTube or places like that to find out how you're supposed to play. I always play on my own, and then naturally I try to figure out the best way to play a game. I don't know. Sometimes I even find some bugs, and I'm kind of curious how to replicate them. And then with the Doom 2016, though, I gotta say I realized immediately that you had to swap between weapons in order to do more damage, simply.
Yeah.
And yeah, of course, like I think most of us, I used to swap only between super shotgun and the Gauss cannon. But yeah, that was a very important start for me, because if you play Doom 2016 before playing Eternal, of course you're going to have an easier start, I think, in about quick switching, because I also think that quick switching in Eternal is way more important than 2016. It's also way more complex and deep, maybe. And as a matter of fact, we found so many different texts in Eternal, and I don't think we could say the same about 2016. Even though I somehow managed to find even some Doom 2016 texts this year, in particular the holo swap, which
The
was
what?
yeah, it's the holo swap or hologram swap, which is a very weird glitch, I'd say, in 2016. Basically, every time you swap from a weapon to another, you also hit the grenade key, with hologram equipped. And for some reason, that will basically skip entirely the pull out animation of the weapon. So, for example, you can do instant DK SMS, right? So instant siege mode, basically.
Oh man, you have to send me a video.
Literally frame swaps. Yeah, it's literally a frame. The animation literally lasts like a frame or 2 frames, and it's of course insane, at least in my opinion.
It's
And,
actually ridiculous.
Yeah,
The speed of the
Yeah.
swaps is insane.
it's also very hard to have control of it, I guess. Mostly because in 2016 weapons have internal cooldowns, right? So even if you swap, for example, if you fire with a Gauss cannon and you swap, you still have to wait, I don't know, a couple of seconds, maybe a second, I don't know the exact number,
Yeah.
until you can actually fire with the Gauss cannon again. So you're forced to swap between pretty much every weapon in your arsenal with this technique, and it's pretty hard to actually find a good rotation since it's so fast. So yeah,
It's quite nice though, actually, because it wasn't Doom. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. It wasn't Doom 2016 at that level often seen as a little bit a lot of weapons didn't become all that useful because, you know, Gauss cannon and like super shotgun, was it, or whatever? Like there was just a combination mostly involving the Gauss cannon that was just super important, that a lot of weapons I don't recall seeing get used.
Double super shotgun. I think it was rocket and then DKSMS or something like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, right.
It was
Awesome.
the highest DPS combo that you could do.
Yeah, and now you've got this opportunity to just swap all over the place. It kind of just gives you a little bit more variety.
Yeah,
I
it's cool.
suppose.
Yeah.
I like to use the combat shotgun, so the explosive shot, for example, and the plasma rifle with a stun bomb, using this tech. Usually, when you use the explosive shot or the stun bomb, there's a bit of a delay after you actually use the mod.
Mm-hmm.
But if you auto swap, the delay is completely gone, and it's like incredibly fast. I have a clip on my channel, which is actually pretty popular, where I swap everything onto a Baron, right? And yeah, it's super fast. It's also kind of glitchy, actually. Some textures don't even load properly during all of that because it's insanely
Pretty much
fast.
destroys a Baron in like.
Yeah,
less than-
Actually, the main problem with this, with maybe 2016 in general, is that demons really can't handle the Slayer and the weapons. They die so fast, so feels kind of useless to do all of that when you can do much simpler things. But yeah, I still think it's these kind of swaps are so cool that they are worth it, even in this game.
The auto swap for the plasma stun bomb, are you able to shoot a stun bomb and then switch to Gauss cannon and hit them before the stun bomb even gets there?
Yeah, probably yes. Actually,
Wow. That's amazing.
Depending on the distance of the demon where you throw the stun bomb, but yeah, definitely you can do that easily.
That's crazy. You know, stun bomb was such a busted move. Like even like first playthrough for me, like as soon as I got stun bomb level 2, I was like, oh okay, I'm using this, and I for the rest of the game, just stun bomb everything, explosive shot, super shotgun, which is one of the reasons I'm glad Doom Eternal pushed its resource management a lot better and balanced its weapons better, because I didn't fall into any of those kind of like cheese tactics the first time I played Doom Eternal. I was engaging with a lot more of the weapons and the tools, and the first time I played Doom 2016, even though I loved it, I had a great time. My first playthrough, I was just stun bomb explosive shot for probably 90 to 95% of my encounters, because stun bomb was just ridiculous, especially when upgraded.
Why would you use anything else? You know, it's like you've been punished for it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing. I mean, they learn from. That's the thing with like the transition between those two games, is they learn from all that, especially with the upgrades as well. Like a lot of people were doing the rich gets richer combos and stuff like that, where it was just unlimited ammo.
The runes were definitely broken in 2016.
Yeah, some of them were crazy. The infinite ammo one, yeah.
Did anyone use Intimacy is Best? The one where it gets them into glory kill faster?
Yeah, actually, I used it back in the days. Yeah.
That rune.
Yeah, I loved doing, like, once you mastered that one, you barely even had to shoot the enemies before it put them in glory kill, and so I would do that and Dazed and Confused and Seek and Destroy. So I would just go in.
Yeah, this was. I think
my
this was
God,
my setup as well.
It
Maybe
was
I used
ridiculous.
Savagery probably instead of Dazed and Confused, but
so dumb.
other than that,
yeah. What? Okay, this is something I'm really glad they changed with the runes from Doom Eternal, from Doom 2016 to Doom Eternal, is that when I was playing Doom 2016, I felt like I was changing runes all the time. I don't know if you guys went through this, but I would go into a fight and then I would shoot for a while and then I would open up the menu and be like, okay, I'm going to change this rune here. And then I'd do something for 5 seconds, and then I would stop, go back into my runes, switch to vacuum, switch to this, and then do this for a bit, go back, switch my runes. And I felt like that was helpful for me because I was constantly like able to change what I was doing. But it also, I was constantly interrupting the game. And I'm glad that they changed the functionality and the balance of the runes in 2016 in Doom Eternal to where I don't feel any kind of real pressure to go in and stop the game and switch out runes in the middle of combat. Except for maybe like a saving throw here and there.
Yeah.
I
think the runes are definitely better in Eternal, all things considered.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
You know,
I personally never had that a problem. I mean, I did used to switch runes a bit, but not to that extent while in combat.
yeah, I just
was
ended up being
mainly-
compulsive about it. I don't know why.
Yeah, I was just mainly testing which runes were the best and where they were useful. And then after a while, I just started using some runes that I personally prefer to use.
Sure. So update 6.6 is coming out pretty soon. I mean, I guess we're all assuming probably mid to late October is what people are saying.
Yeah, I would say maybe late October,
Yeah.
Yeah.
mid-November.
Okay.
That's my prediction.
What are you guys looking forward to? Spud, I'm going to start with you. What are you looking forward to in the update?
Well, I'd be far out. That's really good timing. Sorry.
Sorry. Spud is actually on stream right now playing Hunt
Nothing
Showdown.
happened. Nothing happened, and literally asked me that question, and then I got attacked. Like, it was insane. It was been nothing the entire time. No, I'm looking forward to, like, I guess the battle mode tweaks, but in my region it's a bit quieter in Australia. We don't have as a bigger player base as EU and America, so I'll probably get a good taste of that when it releases. But I'll be blatantly honest with you, like the one thing I'm excited for the most is just hanging out for the official Horde mode.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's coming out on that patch.
I think it is.
Yeah, it is. It is.
It is?
Yeah, it's supposed to be
Yeah.
a big update with Horde mode and 2 master levels.
Well, that's basically it, really. Like, I enjoyed the master levels, but after some of them, like the efforts of the modding community, like some of them, I mean, they could floor us with the next master levels because they know that the community's been making some really beefy mods, like, you know, injecting AI into the game. I mean, you can look at some of the work that like Sylar and T0y0ta have done alone.
Kaiser,
But
Delta.
yeah,
Dude, I
But,
saw
like-
that. I saw that clip with the that new Cyber Revenant skin that's been added. I'd seen a clip with like the Cyber
Was it
Revenant
from
in the
Delta?
campaign. Pardon, sorry?
Was it from Delta?
Yeah,
I
that
think
was
so.
from Delta, yeah.
Yeah, it just looks so sick, man. I didn't even know the skin was in the game until I'd seen that video, and then I booted up Doom Eternal and saw Cyber Revenant. Shit, I've got to get it. And then the day I got the points was the day the new pack rolled out, so I've missed it.
no, like
Yeah, I think-
yeah, like
that one looks interesting.
the Horde mode is the one I'm looking forward to the most because although we already had a mod by the community, it's good to have like, because like, let's say the majority of the player base of the game wouldn't go to the efforts of modding the game because it takes a bit of effort. You've got to, you know, use a lot of external files and install this and update that. It's not like a lot of old school games where there was a lot of modding accessibility, and with it being official, that people don't have to go out their way, and it'd probably get a bit of buzz with scene, maybe like a small scene of people competing against each other's times in official capacity. That's if they commit to a scoreboard in the game. Like some of the most fun I had years back was there was an indie game called Hellbound, which is heavily inspired by Doom and a lot of boomer shooters. And they had a Horde mode in it, essentially. They had a wave-based survival mode, and it had a top, I think, it was like a top 100 scoreboard. And just being in that top 20 competing with these people, there was like a bit of drive between everyone to like smash each other's times and kill ratings. And when it's like an external mod and there isn't an official scoreboard, it doesn't have that same appeal because it's sort of word of mouth what the scores are, if you know what I mean. And yeah, I'm excited for that because I love wave survival stuff. So
I like the
that's my
point
big
system.
jam.
I think it's going to be like that it's not going to be the Horde mode that we know from Protein Soul Art, where like it's just going to get crazier and to the point where you're just like, oh my god, this is insane. It's going to be more of that, like you beat it, you see your score, and you're like, can I do this better? And you try to maximize your score and compete with other people. That's cool. I think that's what's going to set it apart. You get point bonuses for not using BFG. There are demons that spawn. Hugo was saying that there's key demons that spawn and like they're gold, and if you kill them, you get like a 4x multiplier or something. And then if you don't kill that demon soon, it degrades down to a silver. And then you kill it, and then I think it's only a 3x multiplier, and then it goes down to bronze, and then back to normal or something like that. And so I like that kind of like time pressure mechanics that they apparently they're adding. Yeah, I can't wait to see it. It's gonna be fun.
It's kind of like the relics from arcade mode in 2016.
Yeah, Horde mode mixed with arcade mode. That sounds really exciting to me. And the hammer change too. The hammer nerf is going to be pretty nice too. It's going to be double requirements.
Yeah.
Double requirements for hammer. That's good. That is definitely good.
I mean, we all agree the hammer is way too strong
Really easy
in
to
his current iteration. Yeah, it's way too easy. So yeah, looking forward to that, of course. And I also want to add that console players can't even play mods, so
Yes.
at least they got another mod. So I'm actually happy for that.
That's a really good point, though, about the master levels. Like, Spud, you were saying that, like, all the community mods and stuff like that, like, does that put pressure on id to step up the intensity of the official master levels? And it's go on.
I was going to say maybe because like a majority of the player base are console. Like I'd say it'd probably be split sort of between PC and console. Like there's a fair few console players, and like the lads just said then, that there hasn't been mods for those guys. So when they access these master levels, like, whoa, this is really intense. And some of the modding community have already like added in arenas with 30 cyber demons and you know what I mean? It's like, yeah.
Well, not just console players though. Like we shouldn't assume that like the majority of PC players are playing mods. They're not.
No.
Right?
Exactly.
Like modding is a niche thing. It really is.
Yeah.
And
I still haven't played a single modded master level. Truth be told,
I've played a couple, and they're really, really fun. But I also kind of avoid them because my channel kind of speaks to more of a general audience, and I feel like if I immerse myself in dozens and dozens of community-made master levels, it's going to affect how I'm impacted by official master levels, and I kind of don't want that to happen. So I mean, you know, if other people are doing it, it's great, right? But it's going to change how it feels. It has to. And so I kind of want to avoid that as much as I can. I played the Delta campaign, the Kaiser campaign. I played Prote's master level of Reclaimed Earth. They're really, really fun, but I don't want to get too much into it because I still want to be impressed and excited by official master levels. And they can't make master levels to compete with community mod master levels. They simply can't, because not even there's a minority of players that are even familiar with those things.
Yeah, once
Yeah,
you
I see your point. I see your point.
once you start playing with mods, I think there's no way back.
Yeah, there's no way.
Yeah,
that
for
it
me,
really
for
isn't.
me personally, I can't just, I just can't
Yeah.
play without mods. I just can't go back
Yeah,
to vanilla Doom Eternal.
And that's why sometimes for the modding community, sometimes the patches can feel underwhelming because they've already like obviously like id Software have a team of like this. It'd be a smaller team. It wouldn't be a whole design team working on these patches. It'd be more of a skeleton crew, working on these big updates. And then there'll be like a modding community of like a group of friends here, do it like 4 or 5 dudes making that, and then another person doing this, and all of a sudden the modding community is like combined like 50 to 100 people who've like made essentially like another game already, which can be pretty intense. And yeah, like some of the mods that have been created over the last year have been really full on. I think the first couple master levels felt underwhelming compared to the mods, but like when they did Tara's Nabad, that was the first time. Oh, this is Super Gorness and Tara's Nabad. That was when it was like they've pushed it. Like they've taken inspiration from the community and gone, you know what? Let's amp it up a bit.
Took inspiration from the community.
Yeah.
I've noticed that in Tara's Nabad master level, that arena where it teleports you to
yeah,
arena. I am pretty sure that was inspired by Delta's levels because he usually did that in his custom master levels. So I would say
that's good. I'm glad they are taking influence from it.
Probably taking inspiration from the community.
They just like I want them to be inspired from it. I want them to be stepping it up, but I don't want them to be
giving the
pushing
people
it
what they want.
Yeah, I don't want them to be pushing it so extreme to make the super hardcore mod players happy, because I feel like that's a dangerous direction to go down. But they have been increasing the intensity, which is great to see, because at this point, a year and a half in, like, who's playing master levels? It's the people who are still playing this game. It's the people who have at least 300 hours of gameplay at this point, at least. People who know how to play, people who easily target weak points, people who are doing frag blood punch setups on a cyber Mancubus, no problem. People who easily identify flame belch opportunities on groups of fodder demons and to just keep it rolling. People who have been experimenting with how to like jump and meat hook and just kind of float in the air a little bit. You don't have to be crazy with this stuff. But the people who are playing are engaging in the game systems on a pretty solid level, and so the official master levels do have to step up to meet them, and they're doing it, which is nice to see. The new master levels don't feel like the Arc Complex master level.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
There's also Hugo stated on the last stream, I think, that full auto buffs are coming, which is lovely, which is wonderful to hear.
Let's go, Mayo.
I mean,
Mayo
come on.
moments.
The time has come.
I'm pretty happy about that.
Fire rate tripled, ammo consumption.
Oh my god.
halved.
It is now meta, and now all speedrunners will have to use full auto, or they'll be at a disadvantage. That's what I want.
Sorry, but never.
No, that's definitely not what I want. But it'll just be nice to get the gun. I think full auto just needs to feel better. That's all. It doesn't need to be super buffed. I think for the people who want to use it or throw it in here and there, just make it feel a little smoother, right? Just kinda,
it's a bit clunky.
Yeah, just kind of sand down those edges, shine it up a bit. Make it a little more user friendly, and then we're good. And as long as we get that, we're good.
I do agree with most of your points that you said on your full auto buff video with the wind ups and the recovery states. That those should definitely be reduced.
Yeah.
Yeah, it needs to be swapped way easily.
The swapping is the main issue.
So you can make more combos with it without having to
Yeah, actually, I think full auto can be a very nice combo weapon. I used it in some clips actually recently, and there are some cool things you can do with it. Like, for example, Eat Blast or Yeet Blast into full auto feels very good. It's a very strong combo. Of course, if you're okay with the setup, because you need the Heat Blast. This is just an example. There are so many different combinations you can try. So I'm happy for about this change. But yeah, like Toyota, I'm still a sticking bombs enjoyer, and that's not gonna change. But
Boo. No one likes
can I
that.
say?
No one uses sticky bombs, man. That's so
Yeah.
that's so 2020.
It's all a conspiracy.
That was such a like that's one of the most memorable moments in our community history. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, it really was. Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
Funny
like,
thing was seeing how many people were taking that seriously.
that was the
hilarious.
scary part.
I thought that was hilarious.
People were like actually getting mad about it. Like, I mean, all the, quote unquote community leaders, we're all just like laughing about this. And then the people in the comments are like emotionally invested in this and actually ready to go to war over it. I'm like, God, calm down, everyone, please.
That was great.
Yeah, I used to be a big fan of you, Mayo, but can't follow you anymore.
changed.
Sorry.
You've changed.
That's great. Oh man. And also, there is a fix to the faltering system upcoming as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That's
the long
very
awaited.
important.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
That's going to be huge. I mean, not everyone is like a big falter system user, but I'm a huge advocate for it, and it being a lot more consistent is going to make it a lot more appealing to people, I think. Because, I mean, yeah, like, falter setups are amazing, but that 1 in 10 chance or whatever it is that a cyber mancubus might break out of a falter state and bop you in the face when you go in for a blood punch, it kind of discourages some players from engaging in the system, and that's really unfortunate, because the faltering system's like, it's like the deepest, most interesting system there is in the game generally. Beyond like the awesome tech of, like, the fast ballista swaps and the all that stuff. Like, this stuff is absolutely fascinating. But I mean, just like generally speaking, the falter system is one of the foundations of the gameplay.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
for it to occasionally not work, that sucks. And so getting fixed up is gonna be huge. Absolutely.
Yeah, it has to work every single time.
I do hope they also keep trying to fix other things that are kind of wonky in the game right now. One of the main examples of this is, I mean, I think most people have had this issue before, where the mid hook just simply fails
Just
to
no function.
register, or it just breaks midway. I think that one should also, if they could, it would be really nice if they could fix it, that one as well.
Yeah, the mid hook
Since people have started to use mid hooks so much, it's such an important tool in the game, and whenever it doesn't work, it feels very frustrating.
That's
it's such an important strategic piece.
Or when you're just looking straight up to an enemy and it doesn't let you mid hook onto him, it can be very infuriating.
Do you think that the meat hook, like on enemies, it feels like you cannot meat hook their legs, that you got to meat hook their torso, and
there's actually you know the meat hook nodes, right? They added in Tech 2. Okay, and the enemies actually have kind of a meat hook node in themselves, and you can only attach to that. So, for example, that means that for some enemies, you're gonna struggle in a lot of situations when you try. For example, we are all familiar with the pain elementals, I think.
Yes.
They are pretty hard to meet hook.
To meet hook.
Yeah, sometimes. And I heard they're going to look into that as well. at least for the pain elementals, which is something. I also wanted to say that I obviously agree with all you said about the filtering system, and that actually this is way more noticeable in modded content. And
Yeah.
in modded content, due to the larger numbers of demons, these kind of bugs usually occur way more often, and it's very annoying, like very annoying. Sometimes you just want to turn off the game because you die to a bug.
Yeah.
It really is.
So yeah, I hope they really do something about this.
Yeah.
Most of them are related to the filtering system not working properly in some situations.
It's
Especially with Marauders, actually, by the way.
yeah, and modded content, yeah, I'm sure it just gets kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, the blood punch not working with the old speedrunners, watching their runs was always...
That was a
Always
big
good
one,
fun.
huh? Like,
Yeah.
God, like, I'm so glad that the fucking blood punch works now. Like, it did unfortunately cause that issue where sometimes it'll trigger when you're trying to do a glory kill. But my God, if like, if that's the best we can get it, like, I'll take it. I'll take that over. I'll take an occasional wasted blood punch that I can get back like instantly, instead of running in to a Doom Hunter with a Fulcher setup and going into blood punch and it failing and then getting smacked in the face and dying.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh my God,
I agree with
that
that.
was just ooh. But here's the weird thing. Doom Eternal obviously has like these inconsistencies. It's got some bugs, got some glitches, and stuff that we find, stuff that we notice over time. But when the game came out, I didn't see this stuff. I don't think a lot of people saw this
Me
stuff.
neither.
That's
Me neither.
That's the crazy thing
Yeah.
about it is that your reviews are like game plays absolutely perfectly. What got through the whole campaign, didn't have a single bug, but the more you, because like I think it's because the game moves so fast and so many things are working and great and impressing you that you're going through there and maybe you go into blood punch something and it didn't work and you're like, you don't even notice. You're like, what was that? And then you're moving on. Suddenly you're overwhelmed with something else and you're not thinking about it. But the more you play the game, the better you get at it. You start getting a couple 100 hours into the game. You start noticing this stuff. You're like, wait a minute, why does that not work? Why does that not work? And
Yeah, I felt the same way. The more the better I got at the game, the more glitches I started getting.
yeah, and it's like that stuff has been there, but it's not something that you notice the first few times you play the game, which is the game in our community has gotten this reputation as being a buggy game, but like I play other games and the bugs are noticeable right from the beginning because they're just so obvious. And I don't know, I just thought it's kind of interesting that the game the bugs reveal themselves with time instead of the normal situation I'm used to where like I play something and I'm like, this is buggy, and I just get it right from the beginning.
Yeah, definitely. Now every time I try to do a run or just play normally, I instantly notice pretty much all the bugs that I find. Whether like 3-4 months ago, I couldn't notice those that easily.
Yeah. I just thought that was interesting. They must have learned so much from this game, because Doom 2016 was a game that they put out and then they were done with pretty much, right? There's like some updates and then it was done. But this is a game that they've paid attention to. They've had a large community working on exposing problems. They've been communicating with us, and like I can't imagine how much they've learned about their own game and engine through this process. And Ketchup, it reminds me of Mortal Kombat 9, where MK9 was that first game that they really pushed and paid attention to for a while, and people really started mining and digging in, and we found and it's a similar situation with MK9 where we played it and we're like, this game is perfection, but then the more you play it, you discover the input bug, the meter train glitch, player one advantage, just like these horrible bugs that you're like, variable frame advantage, all that kind of stuff, and those are the things that they had to pay attention to and fix for the next installment. And I think Doom Eternal, or going into the next id game, is probably going to be a very similar process of learning so much about their own game and engine because of the community, and taking that knowledge into the next game.
I think the main reason why this happens is... No, go ahead.
Oh, I was simply just going to, at risk of going off topic, I was going to just extend on that, yeah, very much so, because then you look at 10 years down the line, and now the games are considerably less broken, but they don't have the kind of crazy, wacky, wild stuff. But, you know, we had a recent tournament for MK9, Coliseum Global, Mr. Ackerman was hosting it, and we had used Parsec. We created like a cloud server with Parsec. To run an MK9 online tournament where we're basically emulating the offline component, so we don't have that really horrible delay-based netcode that was just no good for anyone. So we actually had an actual competitive, legitimate tournament online with this 10-year-old game, and we're kind of just revisiting all of the stuff that made it broken. You know, players got meter drain glitch. We had people playing Johnny Cage mirrors, where every time one of the Cage players lost, they went back to the main menu, because then they get to be player one for the next game, so that they have the advantage in the mirror match and everything else. And it was like, hot damn, I'm glad we don't have to endure this stuff anymore. Dude. I love that game, but when things are game breaking, I'm glad that devs learn from it.
Jesus
so very
Christ, the meter drain glitch, dude. Okay, guys, the meter, you know, in a fighting game, you do a special move, but you can use your super meter to do the EX version, like the enhanced version of the special move. There was a bug in Mortal Kombat 9 where, like, if you're blocking and then you do you unblock and to do your enhanced special move, but then someone's like trying to attack you in that moment, and then you block to block that incoming attack, so you don't actually get the special move. That doesn't come out, but it still drains the super meter anyway. So the game thinks that you did the special move, but you didn't, and so you just lose the meter and nothing. It's so infuriating. My God.
There used to be a glitch in Eternal as well with that, where you tried to use the chain gun shield and it didn't work, and then you would have
similar,
cooldown.
Very similar.
Yeah, it was very similar to that.
You can get that.
Yeah, I can see how frustrating.
You can get that with the flame belch. If you use the flame belch and immediately chainsaw like a frame or two later, it doesn't have enough time to do the fire animation, but it already registers that you've used the flame belch. So you always got to be a little careful, right? You do flame belch chainsaw. You don't want to do them like 1-2 instantly, or else you won't get it right. That tournament was hyped though, Ketchup. That was so fun. I'm thinking about coming back with Quan. I might do it.
I mean, to be fair, you could probably, if he does more invitationals, it'd be very easy to get more people involved, especially from the North American side of things. Like, if we're EU and connecting to it, there's a little bit of input delay, because obviously that's where the server is located. But if you're, closer to the server, it should be more than sufficient. So
I'd be happy to go in and get my ass kicked by Kerbo. Just some Cabal.
Kerbo is forever king, man. Yeah, maximum sweat lords forever.
Cabal versus Quan Chi. That's not a bad matchup.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? Great.
Well, shit, I don't know if there's anything else you guys, our host or our guests, want to cover before we wrap this up. It's been about an hour and change, hour and 15. Anything else you guys want to talk about that you're excited with the game, or you want to pitch for your channels? Anything you're working on? Sylar, Toyota?
I don't know.
No, me either.
Yeah.
I'm hyped. I'm hyped
Not
for
really working
the
on
Horde Mode.
anything right now. So.
Yeah.
He's secretly lifting weights, getting ready to flex the Slayer in the Horde Mode coming up. So that's what I'm hyped up for.
We'll see.
That'd be
I'm
good to
excited
smash.
for Horde Mode as well. I think it's gonna be interesting.
We'll see, because obviously it'll be different to what the modding communities come up with. You know what I mean? Like they're going to bring their spin on things. So that's why I'm excited. It's not going to be, you know, an inferior or a better version of, you know, what the modding community done. It's going to be their spin-off. So yeah, I'm keen for that.
And from what I understand, Horde Mode was something that they actually wanted to launch with.
Yeah, or that and Invasion Mode.
Yeah.
Sad whistle, slide down.
Yeah. Imagine all the shit they could have done if we hadn't had this fucking pandemic and they were actually able to work in their office. They probably could have implemented a classic deathmatch mode. They could have done Invasion and Horde Mode. Probably could have been done a year ago.
Developing something like Invasion when everyone has to work from home on separate stations must have been a fucking nightmare.
What would you guys think about snap mapping the Eternal?
I mean, I wouldn't say no to it. I mean, like, if they could do it, I would say do it, right? Like, it would be a great thing to have.
I think it would be really cool. If that would be a possibility.
I would love that, yeah.
It would be really intense, though, because, like, when you think of Doom 2016, you think of a lot of those levels. A lot of those levels kind of use similar assets, don't they? Right, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, think of the level variation in Doom Eternal across Cultist base to Doom Hunter base to Super Gore Nest to Art Complex.
Without being that guy, though,
Jesus.
Because there is a massively expanded universe with like more visual, and not even mentioning the stuff that Ancient Gods 1 and 2 introduced. It's a lot more work. So it's like,
for sure.
It's
I
not something
know it's a lot of work.
Yeah. Because it's just like, I dread to think of just how much time that I have to put into like, you know, making all these different ones. But yeah, I'm never going to say no to more content, you know.
Sure.
The reality is Doom Eternal was sick. I'm sure we all agree on that. And if there's ever new ways to play it, more importantly, I mean, I would think together, I'd love there to be more multiplayer experiences that aren't, and I don't want to say aren't just battle mode in a way that undermines battle mode, because it too is a really, really fun component. But there are so many ways to play Doom Eternal that other areas having multiplayer, I think, would just be interactive and fun, if anything. Even if they have the ability to add a second player to Horde Mode, you know, you just co-op it, that'd be great.
Oh, co-op Horde Mode. Damn, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, actually, one thing I always dreamed of was co-op in Doom Eternal. That would be so much fun.
How they were teasing a female skin, like a lady Doomslayer. There was talks. I don't know. I just saw a lot on the net and stuff suggested to the developers that they do like a spin-off where there's a lady Slayer. And I thought with like all this multiverse stuff that goes on these days, and then the storyline being in a Doom loop anyway, it would be kind of wild that there was like, I don't know, like they could do a co-op where it's like back to back the Slayer with like you know, if you played Quake 3 Arena, there's Crash. It's basically like a female Doom Slayer or a female Doom guy, Doom girl. I don't know, man.
That'd be great. Co-op, yeah.
That would do gangbusters, man. Yeah, for co-op, yeah.
Badass Doom Slayer chick as player 2. Hell yeah.
Yeah, or player 1. Or they're equally player 1 or 2. It's taking a piss. But yeah, they're yeah, that would be sick. That would be sick.
Just wait for me and Toyota in co-op, and of course he's going to play the Lady Slayer.
Yes.
You guys just want co-op so you can run around doing punch swap ballista. Two player just. Yeah, like that's the thing, man. Can you imagine high level players in co-op? How ridiculous it would be.
Yeah, actually, I always wanted to play in co-op with Lightning Break. We talked about it a lot of times. That would be amazing.
They'd have to double the AI numbers in every room, and it would have to be its own thing. It'd have to be its own thing. You couldn't just put it into the regular campaign. You'd have to up your AI numbers. You have to change AI spawns. You'd have to possibly change how resource management works. Like, it'd have to be its own thing. And if they did it that way, God, I would be so down for that. That'd be so much fun. I've been playing, like, I'm not a big multiplayer co-op guy, but I mean, hell, Spud, like you and me, and playing Aliens Fire Team, like
it
fun.
was so fun.
It was really, really fun.
The biggest thing that makes me upset though is those higher difficulties that I could be completely wrong, but it just feels like they change mechanics.
It's awful. I tried to play Aliens Fire Team on Extreme a couple days ago, and it's so not fun because the enemies are just bullet sponges. There's nothing fun about multiple players holding fire on a single alien for 30 seconds.
But you can't stagger aliens either. Mustard and I, my brother, we'd built weapons out like specifically into like stagger chance. So if you take the Kramer, which was like a slow fire rate but heavy hitting machine gun, when you maxed that out to level 4, it had like a super high stagger chance. And obviously for those that don't know, you shoot an alien, and if it staggers, it kind of like it's a bit like faltering in Doom Eternal. You know, it just stops what it's doing. You can cancel its animations with it. You can stop it moving with it. And because enemies are such bullet sponges on higher modes, the reason it's good is because you can keep big targets contained, right? You have more control over a situation that's very hard to control. So if you build your item accessories into stagger chance and you've got maxed out, every bullet had a chance to do like 75% stagger, right? So if Jake and I, my brother and I, both had these, we would test it out in the Horde mode, we test it out on the regular old difficulties, and big enemy appears, you keep it stunned. And it's like, great, if we can work around this and coordinate on higher modes, this is going to be how we control those big enemy spawns. You go onto a higher difficulty and you shoot it, not one single stagger. I am convinced they've removed it. And it's like, what's the point? And the rocket launcher, I love the rocket launcher so much. I maxed it outright, and you kill something with it and it creates a cluster explosion. It's like, oh, that's great. Big damage, awesome. We go on a higher mode, I fire at an alien that is miles away from Mustard, and he gets downed and killed instantly. And it's like, what? He's nowhere near it. And it's like, look, so many weapons are unusable, man. It makes me so sad.
It's like the flamethrower. It's insta-kill if you get even just a sniff, a whiff of it as a teammate on any difficulty.
God damn. Yeah, I love the game, but the higher modes were not what I was looking for.
It really kills the experience because playing on intense, like you're just walking all over everything now. It's just so easy, and you play on extreme, and it's just like, this sucks. Your weapons are limited. It just feels like things aren't working as they should, and like I don't want the enemies to be spongier. I just want more of them, and they can do more damage to me. That's fine. Raise the numbers, make them hurt me more. Fine, but don't make them take 4 times as long to kill. It just, oh man, God, I'm so upset because I like that game a lot.
But I mean, I did mention at the start of the show, everyone, tangents are guaranteed, especially when we all share thoughts on a certain Aliens Fire Team Elite. I love the game so much, but yeah, those higher modes are disappointing, I think.
Yeah, they're pretty bad. Okay, well, guys, let's go and wrap this up, right? I think that's good before we start getting into a tangent about fucking Resident Evil or whatever. You guys want to pitch anything? Your channels, streams, any upcoming videos you might be working on?
All I gotta say is watch Sylar.
Okay. All right. I
agree. All I gotta say is watch Toyota.
Okay. I don't agree with that.
Actually, I mean, I'm not really working a lot on my channel lately because I think I played the game a bit too much. I'm a bit on a break, but I still want to try a couple of runs, especially of the Kaiser campaign, Master campaign, which Mayo mentioned earlier, which is a very interesting mod.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Because I want to show some very peculiar swaps I've been practicing with, let's say, early weapons, so Eat Blast in particular. And you can maybe look forward to that if I actually find the time to do that. I also wanted to thank a couple of guys. I don't know if I can here.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, I wanted to thank the Siamese, which is a friend of mine. We worked together on a montage recently, which is called Neon Hell, and he's a great editor. and I provided the clips. It's a Doom Eternal montage, so you can, if you want, you can check that up on his channel. And I want to thank him and our friends in his Discord server. And they love your videos, Mayo. So I'm sure they're gonna love this podcast as well.
Oh, well, that's nice. Send me the link to that video you mentioned, though, the montage, and we'll go ahead and put that
Sure.
put that in the pinned comments so the viewers can check that
Thank
out.
you.
Well, it's been a pleasure to have you guys on. I've wanted to have a tech focused episode for a while now, and seeing that ballista trick, I was like, boom, that's the moment. All right, so it's been really cool to have you guys on and do a different themed episode. Ketchup, you got anything coming up? Any commentary?
It's well, my commentary for the year, as far as I'm able to tell, is pretty much done. You know, we finished up the Open Series broadcasts for Mortal Kombat 11. Obviously, QuakeCon, which was a fantastic online event. The battle mode activity there that we were able to get with Tokyo was a super fun time, especially kind of seeing how the meta shifted and has evolved over the, this time last year, I guess it was. And obviously Quake Pro League coming up for its season 2 finish, which was another big one, which was great as well. So I'm pretty much done for the year. And on YouTube, it's the same stuff. If you like competitive fighting games and the odd FPS video that I do, if there's a new game out or if there is something fun with Doom or I want to do whatever, you can maybe find it there. But honestly, not much has changed. So same scheduled programming for me. Happy Halloween, everyone.
Spud?
May I the Spud under twitch.tv/.net.au.
What?
I stream on Twitch, doing I still do the odd Doom mod here and there, hanging out for the Doom Eternal Horde Mode, so I'm going to be crushing that along with some friends that'll obviously be smashing that when that comes out, the likes of your Devo, Bite Me's out there, and I've got a couch I'm selling. If anyone's in South Australia, I mean, it's such a specific location in the entire planet to a global audience, but if anyone's in Adelaide, they're after no, just kidding. But I am selling a couch, but that's
not having much success. I don't know.
But that's I'm not plugging any
Well, you
anything
just
else
built
other
that
than
room, right? You built your content cube.
Yeah, but it's not Doom stuff related. That's the thing. Like, the content cube is for some other personal experimental stuff. It's kind of like when George Lucas signed away Star Wars to Disney, and everyone kept asking him, "Well, what are you going to do now?" And he goes, "I'm gonna make some small indie art house films." So, I don't know. No, I'm just doing some experimental stuff with it. Let's see where it goes. I'm not gonna hype it up too much, but it's just fun stuff that I want to do. It literally has nothing to do with Doom, so I'm not gonna plug it on here. It's clown circus stuff. But other than that, streaming Sweaty Gaming, hanging out for me personally on the FPS side of things, hanging out for Battlefield, but that got a little bit delayed. And I guess I'll see the Doom Eternal crowd again when the Horde Mode's released. Gonna give that a good smash. That's me.
Let's close it by everyone stating one game that you are looking forward to this year. Toyota.
Not any necessarily. I haven't been up to the newest games, but I'll check it out.
Fair enough. Okay, Sylar.
Oh boy, I have no idea. Actually, I'm in the same spot.
Wow, this has been a total failure.
The game I was looking forward the most is already out, which was Diablo 2.
Okay.
Because I'm nostalgic, so yeah. That's about it.
Okay, Ketchup. Anything on your radar?
Back 4 Blood.
Did you play the beta?
Yes.
Okay.
Mustard and myself were extremely sweaty on the beta. We just played it a lot to get a bunch of the different cards and figure out what kind of stuff you can create. I ended up having a loadout entirely dedicated to explosives and grenades. So you hold a bunch of them, you find them all over the place. The grenades do way too much damage, and before the end of the beta, we were able to complete the campaign on Nightmare from start to finish. So very proud of that and looking forward to the rest of it.
Okay, great.
Speaking of upcoming games, I'm wondering how Far Cry 6 will come out.
All right.
I don't really know anything about it. I've only played a little bit of Far Cry 2, but a new Far Cry game, I might check it out just for the purposes of the channel.
I have fond memories of the map maker in Far Cry back when I was a teenager.
Spud, anything on your radar?
Just Battlefield.
Just Battlefield.
At this point, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's just Battlefield. I'm looking forward to Company Heroes 3 and a real-time strategy, but I have no idea how much marketing they're going to put behind it, whether they just release it and it becomes like a bit of a fart in the wind. Because for me, a game like that is heavily multiplayer focused. Like, it has a single-player campaign, but I like 1v1ing in RTSs, and
Nice.
I love the original Company Heroes from back in 2006, and that were probably like the tail end of the RTS days, probably I think bookended by StarCraft 2, and then it was just all of a sudden
Oh boy.
like ancient, like there was just an ancient genre, like people just, it wasn't as hyped or played anymore after StarCraft 2. So what feels like
I feel you. It's still my favorite genre.
Really?
Actually,
That's sick.
Yeah. I used to play a lot of RTS when I was younger, and my favorite game is actually StarCraft Brood War. So.
Oh, Brood
Yeah.
War.
Yeah, everyone argues that's
Yeah,
probably one of the
don't-
best RTSs.
Don't let me start on that because I love it so
I'll
much.
leave it there. I better leave it there. But it seems like they're, just to finish up on that, like it does seem like the industry is sort of like teasing with the genre by doing remasters, and some of them doing well, like the Command and Conquer remaster did alright and whatnot, but it still hasn't like been embraced by a younger new generation, like, so that's
They're
that'll
all
be interesting
about
if
League
the
of
game-
Legends now.
yeah, the MOBAs.
I mean,
But oh well. It is what it is.
I want to draw a little attention to a game that's coming out this month. I'm looking forward to Alisa, Alisa. It's a indie game. I think it's made by one guy. It's coming out pretty soon. It is a PlayStation 1 style classic survival horror game. Fixed camera, tank controls, solving puzzles, backtracking map design. Graphics are very, very old looking. It looks like it was made in 1996. Runs in like 480p. It is. I played the demo of it. It was pretty cool. It scratches that Resident Evil itch I have, and so you guys check that out because fingers crossed. I'm hoping that's good. Ketchup, you took the intro. You want to take the outro too? You want to send us off?
Go on then, mate. I might not have much opportunities to do this kind of stuff this year. Now all my stuff is done, so let's do it. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. These are always a bit of a long one, so if you've been here the whole time, cheers very much. But I think more importantly, thank you to our wonderful guests, T0y0ta and Sylar. It's been great having you here. And as Mayo said, it's always nice kind of just deep diving into recent discoveries and all that kind of, cool backstory about where everyone comes from with Doom, FPS, and whatever else the future holds. But cheers for watching, everyone. Mayo, Spud Hunter, this has been another fantastic episode. I lost my word halfway through that one. But it's been a good time. Like I said, it's spooky month now.
Us.
If anyone's having October celebrations, Halloween at the end of the month, have a good time, stay safe, all that good stuff. And we will see you next time. Take care and peace out.
thank you guys. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Bye.